Hello and welcome back to the garage, or at least my spare room. As promised, we're going to cover some 3D printing. There's a lot of information out there and I only know a fraction of it. So I'll go over what I know and hopefully that will help you become brave enough to explore the options on your own. The method I'm using is called FDM, or Fused Deposition Modeling. What that means is the extruder heats up the material, the filament, and it pushes it out and deposits it in a determined path by the programming, and every time it does layer, it moves up a determined level as determined by the programming and deposits the next layer, and it continues to build on itself until you get a model. To begin, you will need 5 material components. 1, a 3D printer, pretty obvious. 2 is you're going to need printing material, filament. Each model has a different size and a different type that it can use. Mine is capable of doing PLA and ABS. So we've got some PLA here. That's right now my preferred medium. I've tried ABS, but I have not been successful yet. I think I need to get a glass print plate just to help it adhere. Number 2, you're going to need, or this is 2. Number 3, you're going to need a computer, or at least access to one. The software that you can use for this is free, so you can download it on your computer, or maybe your friend will let you download it on their computer. Anyway. Number 4, an SD card to save your models onto so that you can tell the printer what it's doing. Or you can have it hooked up directly to your computer. Just holds the program, that's all it does. This has a little computer inside of it that takes that model and directs the motors in what to do. Number 5, a 3D print removal tool. I don't have mine here. Basically, it's a flat putty knife. You don't want one that's too sharp, otherwise it could cut your build platform. You don't want that because then you don't have a very good build platform. So you can get one, just dull up the corner a little bit so you can, get under there. So as far as programs go, you really only need a slicing program. All that does is it takes a solid model that you've imported and it divides it into little layers, and that is what the 3D printer uses to step up to build on. I use, for my 3D printer, I use a Flashforge Creator Pro. It's written out here. I don't know if you can see that. We'll zoom in on it later. Anyway, and the reason I chose this one is because it has a large build area. There are other ones that are cheaper. They've got smaller build areas. There are ones that are more accurate, but they're more expensive. This one just felt like a good all-around starter. I don't need high detailed prints right now. Maybe I'll get another one someday that can do more stuff. If you do want really high detail, I've heard that the resin bath ones are way more detailed than the filament extrusion style. So you might want to look into that if you want to. So back to the program. Flashforge has its own creating software, or its own slicing software that they've created called Flashprint. Creative. So it comes free, and you can actually go in, since you bought their product, you can tell the settings which printer you have, and it will have it all loaded. It'll have all the steppings, all of the heats for whatever material you're using already loaded in the program. So that makes it a heck of a lot easier than trying to determine what you need to do on your own. It's easier from a learning standpoint because it's all already there. Let's cut to some test prints. We're going to make these today. I've downloaded the 3D model. I'm not going to show any of that right now. I'm just going to go into the printing side of it so that you can see the different levels that a 3D printer can do. Next week we'll do more modeling stuff, and I'll show you how you can go in and change some settings and do what you need to do. First things first, we've got to start the 3D printer. Power button's on the back. Somewhere. It's not plugged in. Let's try that again. so cute. Wrong way. I was right the first time. Wait for it. No. I need to get a different SD card. Got the new card. Let's try it again. Wait for it. Patience. Oh, patience. Yay! And we want 3D test. We've got this little guy. This is a really good test print. I found this on a website called Thingiverse. Just look up 3D test prints and you'll get a bunch of stuff. This one I like. I can't remember who made it. I'll put a link in the description. But it has a bunch of different things. So it's got a bridging test. So you can see exactly how far your print material can go before it starts to sag if there's no support underneath it. It's got a diameter wall test, so it's got thinner walls, thicker walls, and thicker cylinders. It's got a hole test, same thing. This is pretty cool. This is the overhang test. So if you can see that, it has a curve to it. So right now we're at a 0 degree, 90, whatever you want to call it. But this is 0 degrees of overhang, so it's just perfectly vertical. Then you got 10 degrees, or 15 on this one, 10 on this one, 15, 10, then 30. So this one goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and 80. And you can see, I don't know how well you can see that. Get in on this. You can see about right here, it starts to have some serious sagging going on. And that's on both sides. It's about 20, 30. So around there it starts to sag. So if you have any overhang that's greater than that degree angle, you're going to want to put a bracing underneath that. And Flashprint has preloaded the ability to put supports in. Another test on this is the support test, which is that little guy right there. These are linear supports, so it just goes back and forth, cradles it ever so gently. Yeah, they're pretty cool. So I did 3 prints. I did one with the low quality detail, one with medium quality detail, and one with high quality detail. And I suggest doing this if you get a printer. Each one has its own pros and cons. The pros of the low detail, if you have something you just want to make something pretty dirty, do that because it lays it real fast. This print took 2 hours and 49 minutes to completely do. So the detail isn't that great. I can't read a lot of the lettering on this. It's really smudgy. The layers are really thick. And as you go into smaller or higher detail, the layers get thinner and thinner, but it takes longer to print. So again, if you have something that you just need a piece, make it low detail, you got thick print, it'll be done real fast. If you want high quality detailing, it's gonna take a lot longer. So the highest was 7 hours and 34 minutes. As opposed to just under 3. Like it's a huge difference. So I would recommend doing a higher quality print for little models, things that you want to paint, because then you don't have to sand it as much. You've got thinner layers, better fill. I like it. I don't usually do this unless I'm doing a model for all my parts. So I made this. It's an SD card holder. I gotta find a home for it somewhere around here, I guess. You just put your SD cards, but it's just a piece. I don't need it to show it off. I just want it to hold a thing. It's an industrial component. thick print. It took, I think, 30 minutes to print this, so that's awesome. Same thing with these little guys. These are little clips that you slide onto the end of your filament and it clips on. We'll show those being made. And yeah, I don't need high quality detail on this. It's just a quick and dirty print. But I made all these in like, I don't know, 15 minutes. Made a whole pile of them. Yeah, but if you do want to go the higher detail, I've got another print here. This is, for those of you who are really, really nerdy, this is Serenity from Firefly. I printed this for my wife so she can play with it and have a model to so she's gonna, you know, sand it, glue it all together, and paint it. Let's get a close up. So this is the detail you get with the highest quality. So it's pretty darn nice. Thanks for joining us. We hope you learned a little or a lot. Hit the like button if you liked it. If you didn't, that's okay. You'll get over it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with your friend's family. Yeah. We'll see you later. Look at those spoiled little dogs. We're about to go to Lowe's and get some paint swatches.